Something big is coming. A very uncommon incident is set to take place. For the first time in 50,000 years, it is showing in the sky. A cosmic snowball. It is a green comet. What is a green comet? I know you're anxious to know what this is about. Stay tuned to the end of the video as we understand this phenomenal wonder passing through our sky soon. A recently discovered comet will soon make an appearance in the night sky for the first time in 5,000 decades. Following NASA's report, this was discovered on March 2, 2022 by astronomers using the Zwicky Transit Facility's Wide Field Survey camera at the Palomar Observatory in San Diego County, California. The comet is named C/2022E3, or ZTF, having an orbit around the Sun that passes through the outer reaches of the solar system. Hence, it takes a long journey and a long time to swing by Earth again, according to the Planetary Society. This icy celestial phenomenon, which has consistently lightened as it gets to the Sun, will subsequently make its closest pass to Earth between February 1st and February 2nd, around 26 million miles, or 42 million kilometers away, according to the Earth sky. As the comet nears Earth, observers will be able to spot it near the brightest star, Polaris, also known as the North Star, and it should be visible earlier in the evening. The comet should be seen through binoculars in the morning sky for skywatchers in the Northern Hemisphere during most of January, while skywatchers in the Northern Hemisphere using telescopes and binoculars should look low on the northeastern horizon before midnight to spot it on January 12th, according to Earth sky. Without a telescope, the comet would look like an insignificant greenish smudge in the sky rather than a bright object, so get a telescope close by that you would be able to get a complete view of this massive movement of a green ice ball in the sky. Still, comets are amazingly unpredictable, and because C/2022E3 is a long-period comet, its visibility is even less predictable than its brethren that take shorter trips around the Sun. They take 200 or 20 million years to complete an orbit. These dusty snowballs are more than just phenomenal cosmic views. They may have given life essential like water and organic compounds to our early planet, and studying them could uncover hints about the genesis of our solar system. A comet develops its overwhelming atmosphere from the Sun's heat, which turns some of its icy center into gas. This produces a shade of dust and gas that is pushed off by the wind from the Sun and the radiation, creating the characteristic tails. What are comets made of? Comets are made of a number of compounds, which include mineral gains, carbon dioxide, and dry ice. Nearly all comets have made up of two tails, the ion tail and the dust tail. The ion tail is a yellowish in color, while the latter is blue. It is essential to note that the comet tails are always projected away from the Sun. Why green and not red, blue, or other colors? Regularly, the extreme consistency. From beyond the orbit of Neptune, comets dive into the inner solar system. They stay cold, frozen, and inactive. From beyond the orbit of Saturn, nothing about them changes, though they are always in motion. But as soon as they get into the orbit of Jupiter, being in close proximity to the Sun changes things. The exterior parts of the comet become hot, and the frozen ice on the surface begins to vaporize as the surface molecules are pushed away by the radiation and wind from the Sun. Almost immediately, the comet sparks with the reflected light from the Sun, and the two tails possessing a gray and blue color respectively, with an eerie green coma around the center. Now I see you are curious about what happens. Let's see. Comets are discovered from a mix of rocky components, just like what makes up Earth's mantle, dust and ice. Well, ice here is not only called water ice, H2O, but also has erratic components like dry ice, or solid CO2, methane, CH4, ammonia, NH3, and carbon monoxide, CO. The whole integral part of cometary ice was investigated by the Rosetta mission, but these are the big five. Or mostly, as the comet approaches the Sun, the intensity of the ray of ultraviolet light striking it becomes strong enough that it can begin to ionize the dormant molecules there, carbon monoxide. This generates plenty of CO+ ions, which emit directly away from the Sun. This ion turns into a blue tail, becoming the first comet-like feature to appear as a comet begins to heat up. The ion tail steadily projects directly away from the Sun and is always blue in color. However, as the comet gets even closer to the Sun, somewhere around the orbit of Mars, it heats up further. The nucleus of the comet heats up and causes more of the ice to melt and diffuse away from the surface, forming a large, diffuse set of particles around the Earth. Other planets, like Mercury, without an atmosphere, can also possess meteor showers. But the coma is more than just dust. A gas is also formed by the sublimated compounds that were components of the comet. This body doesn't only have simple ice and rock, but also more complex molecules made out of these basic building blocks, mostly hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen. Two molecules that are of specific concern are cyanide-cyanogen and diamidic carbon. This teal or blue-green color develops because when these gases are stimulated by the ultraviolet light present in sunlight, their bound electrons increase greatly to higher energy levels, a basic rule of atomic transitions. But electrons don't stay forever in a high-energy condition. They reduce to low energy levels. And when this happens, some of those transitions have effects on an emission line that falls in a part of the electromagnetic spectrum that human eyes are sensitive to. The effects of comets on Earth seem to be naturally hazardous because many of them are in orbits that cross the Earth's and may smash it. About 10 long-period comets on the order of 1 kilometer in diameter or even bigger cross Earth's orbit annually. Because Earth is a comparatively small target and space is infinitely wide, the impact probability per comet is, on average, very low. A random long-period comet will hit Earth every 454 million comets that travel across its orbit. Following the estimated rate of 10 comets traveling across Earth's orbit per year, that result is in a mean time between a long period of comet impacts of 45 million years. However, because long-period comets travel on extremely erratic and highly inclined orbits, their average impact speeds are much higher than those of other celestial bodies, that is, asteroids. The average long-period comet that will hit Earth with a speed of 51.7 kilometers per second, if the impact velocity is measured by the probability of impact for a peculiar orbit, then the weighted mean impact velocity rises rapidly to 54.6 kilometers per second. These values are much greater than those of Earth-crossing asteroids, which are basically just about 15 kilometers per second. So guys, let's get ready to see this amazing blaze green light displaying in the sky. Be reminded that after the next opportunity to see Comet C2022E3 won't come around for a long, long time. This icy body has a long orbit that makes its journey around the Sun and far into the outer solar system over thousands of years. Again, the comet officially known as C-2022E3 or ZTF will make its closest approach to the Sun on Thursday and could be bright enough to be seen through telescopes and binoculars. The first chance to see the comet will come early in the morning sky. On Thursday, sometime after midnight but before dawn, make sure you are sitting on the edge of your seat with your telescope to capture the amazing moments of this green comet. You can do that with friends or family. It will be absolutely fun. Remember to get your telescopes ready, as the snake eyes would lack the ability to see it in its radiance. Wow, that was a really amazing ride in space, getting alerted about the arrival of a green comet. Will you prepare to see it? Well, if you eventually do, we would love to hear what you think about it. For more revealing videos, subscribe to our channel. Also, click the notification bell below to get notified when we drop a new video. And just before we go, you definitely must have found this video really exciting. Do well to click the like button and share with friends and family who have not heard of the appearance of this blog for a long time. Spread the excitement! We would also love to hear what you think about this video by dropping a comment in the section below. See you in our next video!